Alright guys, welcome back to the only Dune Spice Wars guide you're going to need to be a top level Dune Spice Wars player with the champ, Cream the Legend. Sorry guys, I've been slacking. I haven't been keeping the pace that I wanted to finish all these guides videos today. Today we're going to do Harkonnen, and then we have Carino, Fremen, of course, the creme de la creme for the end, and then a final commentary video I think I'm going to do with some of my favorite top level players in this game. I'm talking about people that have played this game at the highest level, have won the tournaments at the highest level. So yeah, let's get right into it. So I believe this is going to be a Harkonnen game, and we're just going to talk about Harkonnen. I think I ranked Harkonnen A or B. I think B tier. They're good. Like you can win on Harkonnen. Like there's no question. Their favorite way to win, I think, is either Chome or Hedge. You always want to be contesting Chome, possibly winning on Chome, if not going for Hedge. Um, but let's talk about their counselors real quick. I think the best pairing of counselors for Harkonnen is Kudu Piter. Kudu plus 30% recruitment speed. Piter um, gives you a cheapened intel cost for each time you sacrifice an agent for an operation. That is a Harkonnen unique mechanic. If you pull up your agent menu, you can sacrifice your agent to build the operation. What it does is it makes the operation A, undetectable, and B, um, it'll cheapen the cost each time you sacrifice an agent, provided you have Piter, and it builds the operation instantaneously. Now, with that being said, there is one mechanic that Harkonnen players will either use or not use depending on their principles. I think that they should use it, but some of the people that main Hark don't because they think it's retarded, and I think so as well. It's called the complete and total joke, aka the Harkonnen assassination. What happens is if you sacrifice an agent for the assassination, it's undetectable at 50%, requiring only 2 refreshes before you die and or have to drop territory. So, if you're playing near an opponent who's Harkonnen, who may be assassinating you, make sure you build detection and turrets everywhere, and do your best to try to have 3 agents on counter intel, requiring you to get the far left tier 3 blue tech. It's the name is different for every faction, but it allows you to put 3 agents on counter intel. And try not to die. You may have to drop a territory or 2, which really sucks. That mechanic is very controversial. It's part of the game, so I'm not too upset if people use it. We just have come to label it as the complete and total joke, because it is. I mean, you should have to have a minimum of 3 refreshes before an assassination completes, because the cell search research time takes 3 or 4 days to get. So like you can only anyway, make your own opinion about it. Just be aware that it is a problem if you're next door and assassinating Harkonnen. Now back to the counselors. Their 4 counselors aren't terrible. They don't have like a Shamoom type of counselor like Fremen has, um, which is basically unpickable unless you're meming. So Fade Rotha puts a 30% Landsrad loss, 30 Landsrad loss on a resolution unless Heart gets it. So you can kind of manipulate the Landsrad with Fade Rotha, provided Carino isn't in the lobby, because if Carino makes the resolution for everybody, that guy's useless. And then the other counselor, for Chome victories, an argument can be made that you can go Crone Vatia, who will give you bonus points, bonus Solari for each rebellion and or villager dying in your territory. Now, as far as tech trees go, um, let's see what I did here. I think you want to do some version of logistics into butchers, into fear. I'm going ethics into fear into lay of the land, and then I'm gonna get logistics and butchers in this game. Now, unique techs for Harkonnen. Instill fear is what allows them to hedge efficiently. Now, if you notice on their tech tree, they don't have crafts workshops, and they don't have wonders of the desert. They have something called savage cleansing and symbols of authority. We'll get to that in a second. But Instill fear is a very unique thing to Harkonnen. It allows them to cheapen the authority cost each time they pillage a village. So what you want to do on Harkonnen is you want to have a very efficient pillage cycle, and you want to mark the villages that you're going to be pillaging early, and you're going to mark the villages that you're going to be taking early. And just keep in mind, it doesn't matter if you take the village that you've been pillaging, because it's only cheaper for you to capture. So if you're gonna if you don't have the authority to capture a spice field, just pillage the spice field, then you get it later for cheaper when you do have the authority. And if it's pillaged, it prevents somebody else from taking it. Okay. Um, uh, Lay of the land, you gotta grab it early. It's just like a must. Any faction that has lay of the land has to get it, because you're gonna need a lot of knowledge on this faction. Let me explain why. So you're going to need adrenaline addiction. It's a must-have. You're going to need crew training program and chump support. You're going to need martial economy. You're going to need enhanced questioning, and then you're going to need symbols of authority. And then if you're crazy and the game goes to month 9, you might even get border defenses, but you're going to need outpost logistics as well. So what I'm saying is you're going to need a minimum of 30, 35, maybe 40 knowledge if you can crank it on Harkonnen. And with Harkonnen, these texts right here are like your most essential texts. Let me move my portrait for a second here so you can see right here, savage cleansing and symbols of authority. So by the end of the game, ideally, you're in a situation where you have 4 or 5 pillaged villages that are super cheap to capture, and you haven't touched any of your sieges. When you get savage cleansing online, you pillage a siege that gives you 150 authority. So the savvier Harkonnen players will save their siege pillages until the end of the game and allow them to spike their authority and capture all of their cheapened villages that they've been pillaging all game for like 20, 30 authority, and they can capture 4 or 5 at a time and close out the game on spice tax. Now, keep in mind, when you're playing with other savvy players, they're going to know that this is what you're up to. So if they know, you know that they know, and they know that you know, right? So you're going to have to figure out a way to make sure that you can pull this off while contesting somebody. I mean, the end game is it's like a work of art. So mastering the end game is not the subject of this video, but this is where you want to be as Harkonnen in the end of the game if you're hedging and not choming. Now, symbols of authority is their tier 4 green tech. That's what allows them to build crafts workshops. You have to make a decision at like 10, 12k hedge where you're going to be in your texture. If you have a Carino or a smuggler that's already cooking 40, 50, 60, you're probably going to have to pivot to get your symbols of authority sooner than I don't know, maybe enhanced questioning. But you're going to need enhanced questioning, because enhanced questioning allows you to build the interrogation center in the main base, which will solve all of your late game intel problems, which you're going to need because you're going to want to spam sleeper agents, which is one of the best operations in the game. But for them specifically, if you're taking a fight, you want to throw down sleeper agents because it'll spawn little sleeper agents that do stupid amounts of damage. And they add stacks to your executioners, which we'll talk about their army comp in a second. And then you also want to spam toxic vapors. You know that's a great operation to prevent people from taking territories off of you, because they can't sit large amounts of army in your territory, because they'll be sitting in the stink and they'll be losing HP. So you're gonna need your interrogation center. So Hark needs a lot of stuff. You're going to need martial economy, which is a Hark unique thing. So let's play the video and then we'll talk about martial economy. So with martial economy, essentially, the Hark unique gimmick is that they can oppress their villages. And when their villages go under oppression, they are producing double what they normally produce. However, after the oppression ends, the civilians of that village get very unhappy and they have to rebel, and then the rebellion needs to be quashed. So that office of order building will automatically oppress your villages, so you don't have to do it manually. And then the militia in that village, provided that there is militia in that village, which there always should be militia in each village, because if you don't have militia in each village as Harkonnen, you will be losing on the amount of production. So you always want to make sure that each village, as you can see here I'm filling out, each village has to have militia in it. Unlike some factions like ECAS, where you would rather divert that manpower toward your army and you don't want to put it on your militia, with Harkonnen, you absolutely must have militia in each village. And if you get Arrakis butchers, which will give you manpower from slaughtering the innocents while you're pillaging and raping all their villages, you will have manpower to put militia in. Okay, so yeah, you want to have officers of order. You want to have crew training, you want chum support, you want interrogation. If you're trying to assassinate, you want spying mastery. They're just very knowledge hungry. At the end of the game, you want symbols of authority, you want adrenaline addiction, you want outpost logistics. So you're going to need to be juicing your knowledge, right? So the most important thing in the beginning of Harkonnen game is pillage the stuff that you don't want, pillage the stuff that you want, provided that on the next cycle you're going to capture it, and provided you have instill fear. Um, Prioritize spice fields, fuel, and plascrete. Rare earth minerals and abandoned imperial stations are a big maybe. Depending on like if you can maintenance center these villages well, or if they make a bunker, then keep them. Okay, in the armory in the beginning of the game, you have to be careful with red fluid because red fluid will drain your health if the unit is in combat, and then it takes a while to stop. So you don't want to have red fluid. It's a good upgrade, especially if you're base killing. Some players will play with red fluid, even if they're not base killing. Other players will not. But on the Executioner, there's really no question on what you should get. You should get meat armor and hibernation breastplate. And then the other units with Serbs, you always get stealth and you always get splitting. And then on the Gunners is really where you want to, play around, see what you like. Red fluid, no red fluid. The one that drops their health at the beginning of the flight, but at the beginning of the fight, but increases their um, DPS. And on the troopers, the one that lets them stay alive after they die, it's the flag with the skull inside of it. That's probably a must. And then the other ones you play around with and you see if you like them or not. Hark main base, essentially, like, okay, let's talk about the main base. First of all, if you're not building main base buildings, as soon as you have 1,000 Solari and 500 Plascrete, as soon as they become available, you're not doing it right. Trust me, you always want to prioritize your main base buildings, unless you're doing some kind of weird chome play, at which point you will probably die because you don't have main base buildings and the buffs that they provide. But essentially what I'm doing here is I'm going admin hall in the single slot, and if I'm playing it the way I should be playing it, after spying logistics finish, I will be pivoting into my yellow tree because I will be getting the single slot bonus from having my admin hall in the single slot. Now, apparently, I don't feel any danger in this game. I don't remember exactly what happens, so I might greed a little bit of yellow, try to scoop up some chome, get martial economy crew trading going before I get some of these tier 3 reds. I'm playing without Arrakis Butchers, so I'm not getting the bonuses from Arrakis Butchers, getting all that manpower from killing militia. So let's just see how it goes. But I'm just walking you through my thinking here as this game unfolds. I captured my fuel cell, I captured my plascrete, I captured my starting spice, and I'm just gonna walk around and pillage basically everything because I have instill fear. And as I'm pillaging, I'm scouting out villages, and my army in the beginning is just 2 troopers and a bunch of gunners. In the beginning, be careful with your Serbs. You don't want to put the splitting upgrade on your Serbs in the beginning because as they split, they have less health and they're more prone to dying, and you don't want to be spending that manpower on re-upping your Serb count. Okay, so let's speed this up a little, and we're gonna comment as this game unfolds. So I get spying logistics, I have fear, and I'm getting Arrakis Butchers now as my admin hall is finishing. So after the just after the admin hall finishes, if I'm a great player, I will pivot into, yeah, I have my yellow text queued up. So I will pivot into yellow to try to maximize that single slot bonus, which I don't think a lot of players do this well. I don't think they even know really how to make like a build order in a game like Dune Spice Wars because it's not really an RTS. and my camera's still here, so I'm just gonna move it to the side. Hopefully that didn't turn too many people off. Um, the it's not really like an RTS per se. It's more of a 4X game, especially after they made the Landsrat changes. So I don't know how people are thinking about like these things, but these are very like I go research center in the 2 slot next, by the way. I don't know how people are thinking about their build orders, but they should be thinking about them in these terms. When my single slot, now Hark only has one single slot, mind you. Other factions have like Atreides has like 3, Smugs has like 4, Fremen has 1 also. But as my single slot is finishing, what am I pivoting to that's going to mimic my single slot so that I can get the most bonuses from that research, especially in a faction like Harkonnen, which is going to require a lot of tech to get to the late game in a position to win. And that's our goal with any game. We don't know if we're going to win every game, but we want to get to the late game to be at least in a position to try to win. Okay, so I got Valley, I get Martial Economy, and I'm continuing to get Yellow Text. I don't have too much army out. My neighbor is Vernius. If I want to go attack him, I can do it with like 3 units in the first game because he has nothing but suboids, right? And my smug neighbor is not really a threat to me, so I'm playing pretty greedy. Okay, I'm continuing to pillage, right? But guys, think about these kind of things, about how you're setting yourself up for the late game. What did the map give me? Dune is a very map gen heavy game. It's not so much a skill-based game. If it kind of becomes a skill-based game at the end, but it's more of a political map gen and like a think-based game. Like if I capture these territories, will this help me be in a position at the end to win? Because in the last 6 to 8,000 hedge, like all hell breaks loose, and I don't really know how to explain it to you guys. Like you got to operate in that sea of chaos. Make the right allegiances, talk to the right person, make the right army comp, have a nuke, blah 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 blah. I mean, you can watch countless of my streams of the late game to see like how to operate in the late game and win. But yeah, we're at the 5K mark. I've got my main base buildings going. I'm heavy negative Solari. I don't care because I'm hard, because I'm pillaging everything around me. And I have a pretty minimal army composition. No Solari based units. I do have my close to 40 base 40 CP out just in case. You always want to be prepared. And the game is rolling along. I'm building out my villages, and I prioritized capturing spice and plascrete and fuel, and I have uh, my agents in the 2 in Arrakis, 2 Chome, and 2 Spacing Guild, and I'm getting my yellows. Things are cruising along. I'm continuing to pillage. That's a spice field. I'm buying some Chome too. So check this out. I'm buying Chome. I'm heavy red. I'm getting all my main bases in, and that's because I'm planning my economy correctly. So I grab a spice field. I skip over the special. I'm gonna pillage the special. I think I cheapen that special as a to have it for a capture in the end game. If my memory serves me right, I'm pretty sure I win this game. I don't want to show you guys any games and guides that we're not getting the win, because then it looks like I don't know what I'm talking about. And trust me, that's not the case for this game. For this game, I can assuredly tell you that there's like nothing about this game that I don't know, because I have stupid amounts of hours in this game, and I've played this game at the highest level with the best players in the world, of which I humbly will say that I am on that list. So. And that's why I'm making these guides for you guys. I want you guys to be able to enjoy this game at the highest level, and that's, in my opinion, where this game shines. Also, look forward to like a commentary video about this game. I'm gonna do it with some of my favorite players who I think are also on the same tier of players, and we're just gonna talk about Dune Spice Wars after the 2 guide videos, and possibly a bonus for you guys late game guide video, because I think that's where a lot of people struggle how to close out late game. So we'll give you a couple of examples of how to properly play the late game so that you can get your dubs. Okay, moving along. 6K pillaging. Got two spice fields. Building my third up right now. Plascrete can become a bottleneck with Harkonnen, so just keep that in mind. Infrastructure control will be fantastic if we get it. I think we do, because I think I had the most votes. And I'm buying Chome. I'm building main base buildings, and that's kind of like your early game, right? Unless you have a neighbor who you're gonna go pillage, and you want to maybe grab recruitment initiative and get 45 to 65 to 55 CP early if you build your command post early. This is your standard heart game early, guys, right? This is it. Like, you're going to be pillaging. You don't care about veterancy on Hark so much because these units are cannon fodder. They're like a cannon fodder faction. Their units are designed to die. Your late game army comp against everybody except Carino. You're going to have a handful of gunners, maybe 4 or 5. You're going to have 4 or 5 executioners, and the rest are going to be split Cerberus and an Overlord. And you're going to run those Cerberus into the enemy with the executioners right behind them. And you're going to throw down Sleeper Agent, which is like a phenomenal operation because it'll spawn even more units that are going to die. And then you're going to throw in a scav network because you're not only are going to win the fight, you're going to make stupid amounts of money, you're going to sack basically your whole army, you're going to wipe them clean, and you're going to re-recruit faster than them because you have Kudu who recruits at 30% faster. That is the entire gameplay for Hark, right? So the Serbs run in, they die, they add stacks to the executioners. The executioners become juiced out, roided, out of their minds. They don't die because they have stacks and they don't have Sarge, so they can't be executed. And then you roll the fight. Now I see the smuggler here. He has a lot of units, and now this is where I have to get like my split Serbs and my hibernation breastplate and meat stacks, just in case he wants to come over here and mess with me. And I have the intel to get the operations if I need to, and I'm at 18 knowledge at the start of month 3, which is pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, I think Sandfall is down there, so I definitely want Sandfall. I think that becomes a conflict for Smuggler because he probably pictured Sandfall in his corner, and he's gonna need it for his game. But we'll see. I don't remember exactly. So I'm pillaging Observatory Mountain. I'm buying Chome. I'm now positive on Solari because I have martial economy, so I think I'm pretty sure I have offices of order everywhere, and I'm making 105 Plascrete. You have to make Plascrete on Hark, man. Hark's biggest bottleneck is knowledge and Plascrete. It's not going to be manpower if you're playing them correctly. So I'm continuing to buy Chome. I'm now making 500 Solari a day in month 3. It's fantastic. I have all my necessary yellow tech, 19 knowledge, and now I'm pivoting to my red. And you can see I went kind of like a balanced approach. I got command post, and I'm allied with Vernius, so I was like leeching his red tech. With Vernius, I think he got to remember, man, like you can't be giving everybody out tech for too long because then you're benefiting their game more than yours. So anyway, I get up to 65. It's like what are we talking here? 8 gunners. I know you guys can't see because the camera's in the way, but I'll tell you, it's 8 gunners, 4 executioners, and the rest are Cerberus. And it's gonna be 5 executioners and the rest are Cerberus. Okay, and that's it. And then Sleeper Agent, because Sleeper Agent adds like another 4 or 5 units to the mix. That's it, guys. That's it for Hark. In this lobby, there's no Carino. Let's talk about Carino in the Hark matchup. Hark can win against Carino. However, they have to be very tact in the way in which they approach an engagement with Carino. Okay, Carino has Sardaukar. The whole gimmick of Harkonnen is that their executioners get down to no health, and because all the units died around them, they can get these stacks, these bloodthirsty stacks, and then they can, each time they come near death, they consume a stack. So it's like a 20 stack executioner is basically undying unless a Sardaukar walks along and bink cleaves him and then he executes him, and all those stacks mean nothing. So with Carino, you want to go more gunners, you want to go more troopers, and use sleeper agents and vapors and overlord, and try to finesse the fight against Carino by baiting out their orbitals, making their army weak with vapors, Some stealth serves aren't bad either, just to get on their back line. But the executioner heavy composition is not good. So here we go. So smuggler is trying to be a troll. He thinks he's gonna come over here and do me dirty. But I'm about to sack for my operations. There, so toxic vapors first. Boom. Now he's sitting in my stink, and his opponents, his units are losing health. But he has some mechanical units in there. Mechanical units are not affected by toxic vapors. So I'm getting my ideal composition right now, which is again, I know you can't see it. I can move the camera here for a second. I don't want it's still off screen. So let me just tell you, it's uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 split serbs, 4 executioners, and the rest are gunners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gunners. Hold on a sec. I actually can't see myself because my camera's in the way. But it's like a lot of gunners, a lot of Serbs, and like 4 or 5 executioners. That's it. Okay. So he decided to leave. Um, he just destroyed all my buildings, which is really annoying because he knows he doesn't want to take that fight. I will win that fight, especially with the amount of split Serbs, stealth Serbs that I have. I mean, you can see them here. And he was sitting in my vapors, so his army's automatically stuck at half health. Um, so yeah, he's outie. He's not gonna take that fight. So getting our red tech, I have the pretty good intel. Now after 5K, you do get intel for pillaging. So you remember that's just another incentive to keep pillaging, man. Like you always want to be pillaging a Harkonnen. I like this bunker here. By the way, this looks very bunkerable for me. So I think I will eventually take that bunker. I'm still buying Chom. I'm making Solari. I am low on manpower because I had to recruit my entire army here as fast as I can. So I'm getting these pillages before Smugs because I know he wants them. And we might... I don't know if I want to engage here right now. But he's going to try to snipe me here. And I think what I'm doing is I'm going to sack a couple, and then here come the operations, and then this is not going to go well for him. But for some reason I don't have executioners here, so I don't think I was actually ready for this fight, which really sucks. But he loses some to a worm. Um, he triggers. I sack for vapors. I'm going to vapor uh, and sleeper agent this again here because I'm getting my, you can see like I'm about to set while this Landsrat's going, I'm sacking for the intel and the operations that I need. That I thought I was prepared there, but I guess I didn't have enough executioners there. Um, I can't actually see my army composition here, and I'm not like looking on the screen as well as I should. But okay, so he's gonna try to liberate this, which is never gonna work because I can re-recruit faster than him. The only problem is that I'm lower on units. So he uses extraction network. There was a bunch of stealth split serbs in there. They weren't gonna do crap. So he did not get the pillages that he wanted on the villages to the left, and I'm able to capture Sandfall now because I want Sandfall because I need a crap ton of knowledge for this game, and I need to get my manpower up as fast as possible. So hopefully I pillage more villages using Iraq as butchers as effectively as I can. Heroes. All right, so they have 2 heroes, Ekin and Raban. Raban is going to give you more economy value overall, and he has a nice ability, a nice combat ability where you trigger him and he goes into berserk mode, and like you can't control him or the units in his aura, but he just starts attacking everything. He's kind of like Duncan. Uh, for some reason I chose Ekin here. I don't know why. I think that was a misclick. I think Raban would have been a better choice here, but Ekin is also good. He's like a souped up executioner where he gets stacks from units around him dying. So and then you could see this thing right here. You trigger it when he has stacks on him, and he will sacrifice units next to. They don't actually have to be dead. Like if you want to sacrifice a unit around him, you can, and that's what he does. So I went Ekin. I'm not like too adept at using Ekin because I don't play a lot of Hark, man. I don't think they're that. If I was to have a choice, I'd have way more fun on Fremen than playing Hark, to be honest. Like as far as like the aggro factions go between Fremen, Hark, and um, Smuggler, I enjoy the other two much more. I don't think Hark is bad. Just for me, like I think a lot of their things are really annoying. You constantly have like the rebellion thing going off because all your villages are oppressed. At some point, you'll be making like 3,000 Solari, then all of a sudden your spice harvesters go into rebellion, and then boom, like all of us, and then like then you're making nothing, then you're negative, and then you'll have like so much manpower stored up, and then you have no manpower out of nowhere. So there's like these little things about Hark that I personally find agitating. But if you enjoy Hark, Hark has a very good military dominance about them because it's very hard to win a fight against them unless you're Carino. Um, their overlord, their main flagship is probably it's hard to beat like a mobile airfield, you know. So I think it's like the second best flagship in the game, but an argument could be made. It's definitely the most devastating. Like you can do a decimation protocol and wipe a quarter to half an army out if they're all clumped together. And with the way this game is optimized, it's not like super easy to split units. So usually the armies are blob fights in this game, and then like when you throw those little stingers into the blob and you decimate those protocols, man, that army's gonna die. So I'm cheekily trying to offer Smug a truce here. I don't want him to take those. Now that I see that he's pillaging that, I don't want him to take that bunker on the west. So now he's gonna try to attack me. I throw a vapor in there. I throw a sleeper agent. He doesn't want none of that smoke. He's backing out. Um, and I'm getting the next ones already ready. Like that's the power of Hark right there. Look at that. Like these operations are going to be ready to go as soon as the other two are finished. You can't launch them simultaneously while that operation is active. But man, but thanks to my pillaging, I still have 280 um, 280 intel in the bank. Now these operations are getting cheaper and cheaper for me to cast each time because I have Piter. So toward the end of the game, you're talking about like a 30, 40, or 50 intel cost Vapors, which is like a 500 intel operation. And you have double blue with your interrogation center. So like, man, you're just making stupid amounts of intel and your operations are cheap. So Hark's just a beast. This is like a proper late game Harkonnen army here. You can see the executioners paired with the Cerberus, paired with the gunners. Like this is what you're looking at here for a proper late game Harkonnen army. So I like this here too. This looks like a bunker to me. So yep, I'm gonna capture that. I'm cooking 25 knowledge, and now I've gotten all my essential red. I'm at 28 now, and now I'm pivoting to my essential blue. Okay, at 11k, this is kind of where you want to gauge, like, okay, am I too far behind hedge-wise, where I have to sack maybe a little bit of blue to get my symbols of authority a little earlier, or can I like, if nobody's really cooking, can I like go and grab those techs that I need? So I offer Smug a truce because I needed that quest. They gave me an agent and 300 hedge. Okay, and I'm going to clear out these rebellions, and I'm going to make sure that all my militia in each village is filled out, preferably with veteran militia now that I have 350 manpower banked. And yeah, this game is rolling along really smooth. I know at least I'm going to be in a position to win in the late game. Now with Hark, you want to time your pillage cycles as efficiently as possible because the more pillages you get, the cheaper each village is to capture. Um, and I'm capturing that village, I assume, because it's going to be a nice maintenance center because it's going to touch those two villages up there. And I'm going to try to capture that bunker as well to the south of the smuggler territory. So I see him going there. So I'm gonna pillage. I'm gonna leave one unit there, and what I want to do is I want to fly there. I don't want to walk there. So I'm gonna select my units and try to fly over there. And I'm queuing an overlord. That's great. But he got the pillages off where they weren't even pillageable yet, and I think he thought they were. So I'm gonna be there when the pillage timer is up. So it's my intention to capture these. He's probably not going to like that. Look at my operations, by the way. I already have vapors queued. I already have um, a sleeper agent queued. Now, if I really want to be cheeky with it, I would like to get combat drugs as well. The combat drugs is a great operation too. It makes your army super juiced. Just costs a little bit of health. And I I think I'm just a little bit shy on authority, so I moved that thinking machine into Arrakis. But if I can, I would like to purchase some of the authority POIs on the map. But at this point, I am a little low on the Solari department. I don't want to get hit with that Chome resolution. I have plenty of spice to sell. It's not like a high rate, so I'm kind of stacking my spice here, I don't get hit with the chome resolution because I believe Smugs was higher than me. So I skipped spying mastery. I was actually planning on going for an assassination. I skipped spying mastery after checking the hedge numbers, and I'm going straight to symbols of authority. 30 knowledge, month 5, pretty good. Pretty good situation. That's the kind of number you want at around this point in the game. If you get to if you get to like 35, 40, you're probably going to get all your necessary tech. And I capture my bunker, and now I'm looking good in this spot. So now a bunch of turrets are going to go up. Probably a maintenance center, probably a military base, probably an airfield, and water and all the good stuff. So continuing to pillage. My Solari was negative for a second, probably was under rebellion. Now I'm good, and I'm just continuing to pillage. Those 3 villages, I think I decided in this game: Observatory Mountain, the 2 villages to the south of my main, and the village to the west of my main, are probably going to be spike villages, like to close out the game. And so I'm pillaging them continuously, and I'm getting my crafts workshops, and I have all my operations maxed. I'm generating 20 intel, which is fantastic, and I have all 5 operations. So again, at least I'm in a position to be able to win this game. Not saying I'm going to. I do win this game, but I am at least in a position to win this game. And that's all you can really ask of yourself as a Dune player. Did you do everything you can in the first 15k hedge of the game to put yourself in a position to at least to try to win the game? That's all you can ask for. And if you're doing that, then and you don't win the game, don't be upset about it, because in the last 5 to 8k hedge, it just becomes like a myriad of craziness and who was able to do this and that and talk to this and that and plot this and that, and then sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. Not a big deal. That's the nature of the game, where the primary mode is free for all. So that's just how free for alls go. Check out my numbers, right? I'm at 1.2k Solari, 1.3k Solari a day. I'm cooking some nice income. Hark does very well on Chome thanks to the Offices of Order. I don't know if I'm gonna pillage this right now because that would be interesting. Um, yeah, I do pillage it. I do have. Oh, I did get symbols of authority already. So yeah, I don't mind grabbing the extra 150 authority here, making sure Smug doesn't get it either. And I'm continuing to pillage as I'm pillaging, just trying to be efficient with it. ECAS having a charter is not great, but it's not the end of the world. And yeah, game's rolling on, looking good. ECAS, dirty ECAS, dirty gov ECAS. So I think my play here is, I think I'm going to take that region west of Smuggler, or maybe take some regions from Vernius or something, because this isn't enough to get the hedge win. So I'm going into Smug territory here. I think that is that Worm's Nest. I'm not sure because I don't have the. Okay, Smugs doesn't like that. He doesn't want me to pillage that. He wants to pillage. He's a greedy boy. So where am I going? I sack one. Oh, I don't have my whole army there, so I don't want to take that fight. But now we're under bunkers, and I have the Overlord, and I decimate protocols. That wipes out a handful of units there. I think I drop maybe Sleeper Agent. I do, and he does a comms jam, and he does get destroyed here because there's just no chance he wins that fight, even if he comms jams a sleeper agent. And now I'm gonna re-recruit like so much faster than him. So if I wanted to continue to push him, I could, but he's not really my problem at the moment. Vernius and ECAS are ahead, so I just think I pivot here. I don't need to continue to press the issue. I'm not buying any Chome yet because the spice exchange rate is super high. I just want to make a big bank, and then after this exchange rate is gone, I can pull my slider up, cheapen the Chome price, and then buy some of that sweet, sweet Chome. Okay, so again, no complaints. Even though I'm sitting in third, I'm 4K behind the hedge leader. It's really not a problem. It just makes me not the target right now. So yep, but if you count my true hedge number, it's a little higher than that because I have a special and 4 blank regions. So if you add the special and the 4 blank regions, now we're talking like I'm really only like 1,000 behind or less. 5 blank regions actually. So I'm probably like even with the leader right now on true hedge, not like just what the number says. So let's see where this game goes. 24K in the bank. operations. I got 1K intel, so operations are cheap. ECAS a little too far ahead here, and I typed that, and I said he wins in 2 taxes, which is can be true if he captures his sanctuaries and has a very good fight for hedge with his champions. I don't have any way to get to him, but I can see Vernius is on him over there. So maybe I try to capture something a little closer to the middle. Maybe not. I don't know. Um, let's just see what happens here. But as far as like my position goes, 600 manpower in the bank, 140 flask a day, 30K in the bank. Solari. Maxed out authority. I don't like that. I don't like floating authority, so I should probably um, capture a village or two. Okay, I'm gonna vote punishers on Vernius, or who? On somebody besides me. On Smuggler, because I think Smuggler and I decided that he's gonna go attack ECAS. So, yeah, I think that was Military Factory. I'm not sure, but that you can easily afford that on Harkonnen, provided you have the fuel cells. And I'm coming in here. I think I skip over the Smuggler territory and I go straight for ECAS after I pillage this. But I don't. This game happened a while ago, guys, so I don't know. So I'm actually capturing that territory, which is great because I had 500 authority. So capturing that is fantastic. Um, but yeah, now everybody's on ECAS. Like everybody knows, dude. If ECAS is gonna get to like 23, 24K hedge with like I can't see them, but he's got probably like 3 or 4 sanctuaries plus champions. One good fight with a lack of fog and Whitmore and 2 champions and 3 sanctuaries and tax will win him the game sooner than later here. Okay, and everybody knows that. So I'm actually chilling right now. Okay, I've got 18K. I am cooking 19. It's not much, but I'm comfortably in third. And there you go. ECAS just lost 2,000 hedge. Probably lost a champion or a special. And now Vernius is ahead. And I'm thinking about that. And I'm thinking like, what do I do? What am I gonna do? Okay, I got a nice bunker over there. I'm getting my blue. So when this game, if I'm getting blue tech right now, that absolutely means that I got crafts before interrogation center. And that was because I was probably too far behind if I don't get some cook going on my passive hedge, right? So yeah, I'm flying up with my army. I'm capturing this region because I still have 3 blanks or 4 blanks ready to go. Those guys coming over to pillage that region is actually fantastic news for me. That means nobody else can touch that region after it gets pillaged if they're successful. Okay. Um, I can see, yeah, I have 4 villages, so and one of them is special. So I'm in a good, really good spot. It's very rare that you have 4 villages and a special blank after they have been instill feared for the entire game, and you're in a third. Okay, so like optics wise, I like this for myself. Continue to build out villages, pillage, and I do believe, I do declare that I will attack Vernius soon here. And there's some kind of bounty. We take the bounty. Water seller unions goes on smuggler. No problem. Somebody got hit with gear regs. It wasn't me. 49K in the bank. Okay, let's look at the chom numbers for this game. Uh, okay, the chom market at this game had me at 24, Smuggler at 13, House ECAS at 20%. I have 50K in the bank. Now that the spice rate is lower, I'm gonna slide the slider up and I'm gonna slide the slider to the right on the buy, and I'm gonna get to at least 30%. Having 30% chom is so good. Not only does it give you more votes, you really want it for the military buff. So that 15% power is really nice, and I'm gonna get that. I'm leaving my Overlord in the south because I do foresee that that's going to be an area of contention for Smuggler. He's not going to like me having those regions there, but I am going to have to go take fights with Vernius and with so I'm at 34% right now. Now, people are going to say, like, oh, he's a chome threat. This is going to be a hedge game, okay? And I can objectively say that because I'm not in the game. I'm not smoke screening. I'm not gaslighting. This is a hedge game. When there's somebody owns 20% of the market, somebody else owns 20% or 13, 50% of the market, I'm not going to get to 50% chome. I'm just not. But I am going to get that sweet bonus of 30%. And I want to keep it. So just keep in mind, each time tax hits, you're going to lose a small percentage of chum. So if you're sitting right at 30 the whole game, you're going to be at 29, 28 each time tax hits, and we don't want that. Now versus Vernius, I think I made a boo-boo here. I think I forgot that I was allied with him. But versus Vernius, it's very hard for Vernius to win a fight against you. I decoy thumper the deep desert because I don't want to get decoy thumpered, and I remake it right away. But I'm gonna look. I have EMP, but what I really need is I really need a scan. So I said, look at the way that army composition is positioned. This is like textbook play right here, right? Minus this one gunner right here. You want your gunners in the back, Serbs out front, and your executioners ready to feast off those juicy stacks while the Serbs are getting annihilated with the sleeper agents, right? Now what I'm gonna do, I hope, is I'm gonna sacrifice for a scan here, and I'm attacking Vernius, who's at 23. I'm taking this. I destroy the node. I'm not. I guess so far, I don't know if he's running newer or not, but okay, here he comes. I'm gonna try to fight on the EMP'd sleeper agent region, and I think his army was kind of weakened from his conflict with the ECAS, and so I destroy the node there, so I'm not taking damage from the node. I build a nuke in the meantime, which is going to be handy dandy and useful for the end of the game. And I'm just taking it one tile at a time. The gunners do massive damage to his units. And this is like the pity of Hark, right? Because they're designed to be on low health forever. So if he continues to reinforce, Vernier is one of the other factions that can recruit really fast in the game. So he has a shorter reinforcement path than me here. I don't want my Overlord in this fight because I don't want it to get hidden backdoored, so Vernius doesn't take advantage of that. I don't have any mechanical units, and water regulations is terrible for everybody except Smuggler. Um, I hope I do leave a siege for myself at the end of the game. Okay, and Vernius is just he's too low on army here. I get my Serbs back. I capture that region. And I knock him down a bit. I don't know, and then I offer him a truce. I don't know if he takes it or not, but Smugs is taking something else off Vernier, so he's got other problems. And Smugs is captain of special, so that's good for his game. But Ekaz is just such a threat right now at 23 with a couple of sanctuaries. And I'm at 21, and I have a special and three and still feared villages. So I'm going to go ahead and pillage this siege right now, I believe, which is a great time to do so. Because I'm going to get 150 authority from that, which is going to be really useful for the late game. And I'm getting outpost logistics. Let's check the end game tech tree. Is it textbook? It probably is. Let's see if I can pull it up for you guys here. It's coming now, I believe. There it is. Okay. Textbook right here. Okay, they obfuscated Chome support, which is crazy because I was never going to win on Chome anyway. But whatever, they did that. I don't care. It's good for me as long as you don't obfuscate parallel training. You could obfuscate Crafts Workshops, aka Tier 3 green over here, which doesn't affect me, which is a nice thing about Hark, because if crafts get obfuscated, Hark's crafts are on a tech below, so they're fine there, right? But textbook here, we got enhanced questioning. We're finishing up outpost logistics, which is the crucial tech for the late game hedge spike. It makes all your villages cheaper, allows you to add one agent to Arrakis, and we have all of our essential techs here. It's very unlikely you're going to get this and border defenses unless the game is just going to drag on to like month 12. But this is all you need, guys. Some can make a case here for local hubs earlier, to get cheaper construction costs, because one of your bottlenecks early game will be Plascrete. No problem. Fine. I don't hate it if you have local hubs here, or if you're killing somebody and you get siege incentives. But look, dude, or if you're assassinating somebody and you get nefarious contacts. But essentially, like for a hedge game, mwah, chef's kiss. Okay. All right, pillaging the siege. and Trucing Vernius. And I gaslight and or tell the truth. I think I tell the truth here that Ekaz wins on tax, provided he takes a fight with champions and captures his sanctuaries, which I think is true. I think it's true. So my Overlord's moving into position. I didn't need it up top for my fight with Vernius, but I am about to get like 150 authority and whatever POIs I can snag. I'm gonna liberate this and or capture this. I don't remember, but I know that essentially I'm gonna come from behind here, so I have to do something to stop ECAS. So I will eventually move over to the ECAS territory. There's also a siege in that village. So here we go. I break truce with ECAS. I liberate that village. I liberate those rather renegades. I'm starting to liberate ECAS a little here. Leave a couple there. So I always leave 2 units just in case he sends an assassin. And I'm going to liberate that. And ECAS is going to be knocked down a peg here. And I think that's good enough to stop his immediate win. I actually start capturing that. Okay, ECAS wants to smoke. So we're going to put a thumper there. So we're going to lock him into a region. Now he's locked. So look at that, right? He can't stay in this region because it's thumpered. There's all sand here. He can't stay in this region because it's vapored, right? And this is the power of Harkonnen. They just have amazing operations, and then they could just instantly rebuild them for cheap, right? Obviously, Thumpers is a operation that everybody has, but I mean, when you pair it with the other stuff. Now, if he decided to, now look, if he decided to engage in this territory here, this is Thumpered, this is Vapored, this is Sleeper Agented, with probably a Scav team, so he's gonna get rolled and he's gonna make me money. And ECAS doesn't want to do that because, ECAS recruits super slow. So he has to be judicious in the way he approaches each of these engagements. So he decides to back away and probably realizes he cannot close the game at this point because I'm making a heads-up play here. I skipped over the smuggler. And, yeah, we're going to stop him from closing this game out on tax, which at 26k, 27.6 with tax, whatever passive, and I don't know how many sanctuaries he has. Maybe not enough at this point. Maybe he's been knocked down sufficiently. It looks like only one sanctuary, but we're still going to guarantee that he doesn't win the game with a cheeky hedge farm play with his champion. So I'm capturing that region. I'm capturing this region, perhaps, and I think I'm going to pillage the siege, actually. Or I'm pillaging this region. Okay, but ideally I pillage that siege. Oh god, I'm such a genius. Let's go, champ. So we pillage that siege, 150 more authority. And I'm checking the authority on these villages on the right that have been consistently pillaged all game long. ECAS under immense pressure here from both sides. I'm gonna go into further. He's farming up some hedge. He's at 27. This is getting dangerous now. I throw a decoy thumper on the west so my army doesn't get chopped up by the worm. And I'm going in, man. I can't afford to have him get any closer. Tax is about to hit, so he'll be at 28, and that's one fight with champs. So he's still fighting Smuggler. I mean, at this point, we have to be allies by virtue of the situation, the Smug and I. I sent him a truce, try not to kill his unit, and hopefully he accepts it. He does accept it, and I'm just helping him liberate the ECAS, which at 28.7. Gosh, he's ever so close. With one sanctuary, Smuggler's going to go ahead and capture a special for himself. I don't hate it. I mean, the Smuggler is obviously in third or fourth, so there's no reason for me to stop him from doing that at this point. And the liberations continue. Now I'm capturing my regions. I'm at 400 authority, cooking 11. It's fantastic. I got a siege pillage off too. That technically, I mean, there's no way I should get that siege pillage because that's like in Smuggler quadrant on the map. But because of the situation and game awareness, I got that off. There's a siege in there too, but I don't know if it's pillaged or not. I can't see from this point. So now I'm in the lead, and I got a nuke ready, and I'm capturing the rest of these villages, and I got to hold out for one tax at this point, right? For one tax at this point, my situation is phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and I have a nuke. That's the most important thing. So I'm continuing to capture regions. And they're so cheap. Like, there's no way. Yeah, see, look at that. I get them all, and I still have 280 authority left over. Like, because those villages on the right probably cost like 40 or 50 total or less, right? And the funny thing is that I can't, even though that's a spice village, I can't build a harvester in there because I don't have the spice discovered. Not that I need the money at this point, but it's just a little thing that amuses me a little bit, even though the refineries are already built because I captured that village with a refinery in it. Anyway, I have an airfield on the west. I fly my army to defend. I don't want Smuggler capturing that. I don't want him to capture anything. So I don't. I preemptively nuke the villages on the west because I know Smuggler is also in spike range, and I can't have him capture that village on the west, right? And so if he captures that one village, I think that village is uh it's pillaged right now, so he can't capture it. But I do have the ability to capture a village. Now Smuggler realizes he can't capture the village over there. He has to stop me from capturing from continuing to capture villages and to try to liberate. But he can't stop the cap on the west, right? So that cap on the west, and he can't win this fight. I mean, that's his army here. He has a lot. He definitely has a lot. He takes a good fight outside of Vapors. I'm recruiting Serbs to the max. My nuke is almost up. He takes a really good fight there. I took a poor engagement there. I should have let him stew in the Vapors a little bit, but that's okay. I've got the power of Kudu, 30% recruitment speed. I'm hitting him with everything I got. I decoy Thumper the village on the west, so he can't just stand outside of the Vapors. Now he realizes that. Now my Overlord comes in and kills half his army with one shot. And now the Serbs and the Executioner come, and there's just no way he's going to be able to. And I have a nuke cooked, so there's no way. And ECAS now is trying to capture a special for the win. I stopped the ECAS from capturing the special on the west, and I just have to hold out till tax. And even with the ECAS capture, I believe I do come out on top in this game, and there it is. And the late game there gets hairy. You have to know what you're doing in this situation. But again, just remember, you always want to be in a position to at least have a chance to win the game, which is where I was with that. So that's the Harkonnen guide, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Fremen, Carino next. Bonus video if I feel like it, because I haven't been playing this game too much. But late game mastery, and then finally a final commentary with some of my favorite players who are also just as great, if not greater, at this game than me. And I hope you guys are enjoying this. We'll see you for, if you're watching this before Saturday the 17th, we actually have a $100 Dune tournament in the server tomorrow. Join the Discord. We've been playing a lot of Age of Empires 4. Dune will never die with us because it holds a special place in our heart. So I'm sure we'll have events for it in the future. Thanks for watching. See you for the next video.